Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Let's start again. Sorry. Bismillah, alhamdulillah, salatu wassalamu ala rasulullah. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. It happens to me all the time. The mic is off and I'm talking and whatever. Welcome everybody to our usual Saturday show. For me, it's Saturday, and for you, it's probably Sunday or Monday. We don't know, we're in different parts of the world. But welcome anyway, wherever you are and whatever you're doing. I hope you're having a nice weekend. If you've already started your weekend, mine is finishing. I'm back to work tomorrow, and you know, game over basically. But the same thing, provide for you content and everything, and we can go through whatever content we have. I have some content for you to go through apart from our usual content, and I'd like to remind you that you're watching Oh People of the Book, your usual channel, and also we're connected through Consider This TV network, which is a network of several channels, and we usually broadcast from both sides. So from wherever you're broadcasting, wherever you're watching us, please share what? Please share that. Please share, like, and subscribe. Issue. I don't know what's happening with my network, but today I think I moved something again. I don't know. Anytime I move anything, but yeah. So we're going out anyway. So I'm sure of that. Anyway, let's move on. Let's move on to the usual the usual thing. Now, today I have a book for you. That is written by Sheikh Mohammed Al Jibali, and my teacher, Dr. Bilal Phillips, does a course on his university, the online university in marriage. Yeah, so he does a course, Islamic Online University. You go to the IOU, you type in IOU. It's called the Islamic Online University, and it's also called the International Online University as well. And if you want to do diploma in marriage, okay, if you want to do a diploma in marriage, then you will find this course on there. And he does this book. This book is called Garments of Love and Mercy. Okay, Garments of Love and Mercy, written by Sheikh Mohammed Al Jibali, but the course is done by Dr. Bilal Phillips, who I took my bachelor's in Islamic studies from. Okay, now the book goes through marriage and everything. There are certain things that we need to to go through, but I found something in there that is interesting. Okay, and I thought I'd share this with you. The second chapter of the book, the first chapter is called. The first chapter is a blessed bond. Marriage is one of Allah's laws. This is the first chapter goes through this, and then it goes through Islam urges Muslims to marry, commands from Allah and everything. And then a point here, which is I think still part of the first chapter, called danger of bachelorship. Now we're going through this a lot in our times. Yeah, we're going through the danger of bachelorship. A lot of people are not marrying. Even our brothers are not marrying. You'll find our sisters are left them without husbands, either divorced, or our sisters are widows. So this is a danger of bachelorship, and you'll find it a lot these days. And this book covers it. Garments of Love and Mercy. It's about marriage itself. It's not talking about polygyny. It's talking about marriage itself. But what is polygyny? Polygyny is marriage. Some people tend to take polygyny as if it's something strange from a different world, nothing to do with marriage. No, it's marriage itself. Just marriage to a different person. Yeah. You're extending your family. You're bringing that family into your that sister into your family. If she has children, she hasn't got any children. She'll have children by you. It's just an extra family. Okay, so it's not something strange that came from a different planet and suddenly landed on you, called a different name, polygyny, or it's not marriage or whatever. No, it's marriage. Yeah, marriage. The same rules apply. The same rules that apply when you get married. There's a contract. There's you provide for her. You do the same thing as the first marriage. It's just marriage with the second, third, or fourth person. Some people tend to kind of have a confusion with this. So that's why I need to make it clear. Sorry, I keep looking that side because I keep looking on the screen and my camera is on my laptop here. So that's why I'm having to turn around every time. You might think I'm not looking to you in the face or whatever, but my camera is separate. Anyway, so yeah, this book now is called Garments of Love and Mercy. And I think Sheikh Ibn Jozi, or if it's not Sheikh Ibn Jozi, or it's Sheikh Ibn al-Qayyim, Ibn al-Qayyim al-Jawziyah, has got something on the same line, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, where they talk about love and mercy, where they talk about the marriage and stuff like that. If I'm not mistaken, while I was doing my searches, I came through, across these books. But anyway, there's a chapter there called Danger of Bachelorship, something that a lot of people are going through nowadays. Some people don't want to get married. It's too hard to get married. Marriage has become difficult, and zina has become easy. And so there is that danger. Okay. A strange phenomenon has recently developed among the Muslims without being confined to one country or nationality. A phenomenon whose consequences can prove to be the most devastating to the Muslim community. This phenomenon is the alarming number of unmarried Muslim men and women. So unmarried here could be single, could be divorced, could be widowed, could be anything. Unmarried, bachelorship. Okay, and this is a danger. I've been talking about this for a while now. I've been mentioning the crisis that we are going through as Muslims, and even in the land of the non-Muslims as well. You find a lot of them. For the non-Muslims, it's something for them it's not a problem for them. They're going from partner to partner. They have different rules and regulations. But us as Muslims, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has sent us the Quran, has sent us Islam, and we go we abide by the Quran. Okay, so there are regulations that. Yeah. Okay. So I'm keep worrying in case I'm not going out. So yeah. Anyway. So yeah. So this phenomenon is the alarming number of unmarried Muslim men and women. On an individual level, it may appear that bachelorship poses a very insignificant threat to the Islamic world. However, in Islam, unlike the other religions, matters are weighed in light of their benefits or harms to the community as a whole. Islam deals with the community as a whole, not just for one person or the laws that we have. You have individual laws as well, but most of the laws are dealt with the community, the good of the community. Yeah, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, when Allah mentions something in the Quran or in the Hadith as well of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, it is to deal with the good of the community as a whole. So, what is the effect of single, unmarried men and women on the community? To find the answer to this question, all one has to do is to look at the non-Muslim communities. Every day we are confronted by the perversion and sinful practices that non-Muslims find acceptable in their societies. Okay? This occurs because of the unnatural decision to abstain from marriage. A lot of sisters nowadays, rather than enter into polygamous marriages, would turn around and say, "I'd rather die. I'd rather remain alone than to enter into a polygynous marriage." Even not marriage. Some sisters have been married before and, like, have had some issues. Some brothers as well have been married before and had some issues. That's it. Don't want to get married again. Huh? Don't want to get married again. Khalas, finish. They're going to stay bachelors all their lives. Now, obviously, this is unnatural because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has told us, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has commanded us to marry. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says in the Quran, Surah Nur, verse 32, Allah tells us, here, marry the unmarried amongst you. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Marry the unmarried amongst you, and the righteous of your male and your female slaves. If they should be poor, Allah will enrich them from His favors. Allah is bountiful and all-knowing. Okay, so it's very clear. Now, Allah is telling you to marry. It could be a command from Allah, and it says here a command. In the book here it says a command from Allah and His messengers. So Allah's commanding the believers to marry. It's not a choice, so try, don't like it, no whatever. Allah's commanding His believers to marry, and to help those under their charge to get married as well. Okay, so it's very important that, these people who are thinking that oh, I'm not going to get married or whatever, or I've been married before, I've had problems, all men are this or women are that or whatever, don't think like that, because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is commanding men and women to get married. Okay, and Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala also says in the Quran, chapter Surah An-Nisa, verse 1. No, this is Surah Al-Dhariyat, chapter 51, verse 49, where Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala says, "O people, revere your Lord, who has created you from a single soul, created from its mate, and dispersed you both of them from many men and women." It is clear. Okay, so for people who are thinking that, shunning the opportunities that are coming to them, a lot of sisters think, oh, I'm going to reject this. Another one will, yes, this is from Allah, marriage is from Allah or whatever. But a lot of times you reject good proposals. It may be a man he is married or whatever, but he's a good man. You reject him and then end up with no other proposal at all. And you stay like this for the rest of your life. Now, marriage, the book carries on. Marriage is a practice of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. The Prophet sallallahu indicated that marriage is part of his sunnah, and whoever neglects it is not his true followers. So, for those of you now who are having the opportunity of getting married, but then I'd rather stay single, for the rest of my life, or I'd rather buy a cat and whatever. Sorry about this. My camera was on there. The wire was getting in the way. So anyway, so for those of you now who would rather stay single and don't think of getting married or whatever, the Prophet ﷺ is saying whoever neglects marriage is not of his true followers, even though he derived the great pleasure and highest satisfaction from the prayer. Allah's messenger expressed that he still had the desire for worldly pleasures, such as women and perfume. This is only natural for a human messenger. Anas radiallahu anhu reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Of your worldly life, I have been made to desire women and perfume, but the satisfaction of my eyes has been made in salah." Okay, so it's clear, yeah. The Prophet ﷺ, his satisfaction is been made in salah, but nevertheless he enjoys the women of this earth and the perfume. Nothing wrong with that. I see a lot of sisters when brothers kind of trying to get in connection with them. Oh, perverts and this and that and the other. No, Prophet ﷺ said, he has been here. of the worldly pleasures of life, I have been made to desire women. So obviously, if a man's getting married a second time, a third time, or a fourth time, because the Prophet ﷺ has said he obviously desires some women. Yeah. Okay, so we have to understand it in context here. We have to understand everything in context, and not like put our emotions first, and like we prefer to you know not we prefer to follow our emotions than to follow the sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the commandments of Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Another hadith of the Prophet ﷺ, reported by Aisha radiallahu anha, she says, the Prophet ﷺ says, marriage is a sunnah of mine. And whoever does not follow my sunnah is not one of my fellows. Marry, because I will display your on the day of resurrection. Whoever has wealth should marry, and whoever should not should fast, because fasting is a restraint on him. Now, when we talk of fasting here, we're not talking about a man who's married already. Now he wants to take another wife. Fast, because no. That's not what it's talking about. Single people. There's a hadith above that. The hadith above that in the same book that actually mentions. It says here the hadith from the Prophet Sallallahu Ibn Mas'ud mentions this. The Prophet says, young men, those of you who can afford marriage should do so, for it helps lower the gaze and guards the private parts from zina. And those who cannot afford it should fast. So fasting is a repression of the desire for him. So he's addressing the men who are not married in this case here. But the men who are married, you have your wife. Okay, fine. But if you have some issues or whatever, you're not going to fast, are you? You have the opportunity. Allah's given the permission to take a second, third, or fourth. So you go ahead and that's as long as you're doing it the right way, the proper way, or whatever, then fine. Okay. So for the men who can afford it, whoever has wealth should marry. So if you have wealth, you can marry one, you can marry two, you can marry three. It's up to you. Yeah. But those who do not, this is those who are still young, those who are still at college, those who are not working yet or whatever, then these people should fast, because fasting should restrain. No monasticism in Islam. Some followers of the earlier prophets tried monasticism, as it is self-discipline that could possibly bring them closer to Allah. However, they were not able to fulfill it as well as they had hoped. Now, look at the non-Muslims. I think we spoke about this a couple of weeks ago, where people pretend the monogamists pretend that they're better than us or whatever, and one wife is enough and whatever, and then they end up committing zina outside. So some go even further and try and be monastic. Don't marry at all. The Bible even mentions that they should not marry. That the certain verse of the Bible mentions that they should not marry. So, however, they were not able to fulfill it fulfill it as well as they hoped. The reason is simply that it contradicts human nature, and that this is why it is not permitted in Islam. Okay, so in Islam, Allah has created us in a way to be married. Yeah, Prophet ﷺ mentioned in the earlier hadith that he desires women. Yeah, he desires women, and this is something natural for him. So this is why a man, if he is married and he finds that he has the opportunity to take another wife, we've spoken about this several times before. That no need to have any excuse, any reason or whatever. And again, I keep mentioning, we mentioned that earlier on as well, about the issue of the crisis that we're going through, and even this book mentions it: the danger of bachelorship, how much of a danger it is for people who are not getting married. These people who, like, have been divorced, these people who are single, these people who have been made widows and they're alone. There's a lot. There, there's a lot of things that a woman cannot do on her own. Okay, there's a lot of things that a woman cannot do on her, no matter what the feminists tell you. There's a lot of things that, like, a woman would need a man around the house. So, I keep having to repeat this, but there you go. Anyway, so sorry, you're watching Our People of the Book, and please subscribe, like, and share. Our usual polygyny to monogamy to polygyny. I'm going through a different book now, like I mentioned, Garments of Love and Mercy, which is a very nice book as well. And if you want to put a comment in and, like, say hello, give salam, and, like, whatever, and it's nice to have my my audience at least interact or whatever. And I don't seem to be having any questions from you, but alhamdulillah, they say, like, no news is good news, basically. So it seems like everything's going okay. Yeah. Okay, so we've made that clear that in Islam you have to marry. Yeah, it is a command from Allah that you have to marry. Okay, the book now mentions advantages of marriage for individuals. Okay, being ordained by Allah, the Most Wise and All-Knowing, marriage is sure to have many virtues and advantages. In what follows, we list a number of them. Preservation of faith and religion. We say that an-nikah nisful iman. Okay, we know that it is half of iman. Nikah is half of iman. A man and a woman who are married, they're safeguarded. They're safeguarded by marriage. So an-nikah nisful iman. Okay. Preservation of faith and religion. Righteous spouses assist one another in preserving their deen by offering help, support, and advice to enable one another to obey Allah and abstain from sinning. Okay, it mentions a hadith here. This is in general. It's talking about marriage itself. Now, can you imagine a man and wife praying together? Yeah, how much bonds them? Yeah, how much bond it builds between them. You wake up for Fajr, maybe your masjid is far, like, and you're praying at home, husband and wife praying together. Okay, reading Quran together, sharing them hadith together, sharing deen together, or whatever. So it kind of preserves you. It assists one another in preserving their deen. Okay, it's very important. Obviously, like, I always make a joke. I always say, like, if nikah is half of iman, well, two nikahs make full iman. Then it's just a joke that I make. So anyway, like, so two nikahs. So a man should have two wives, in other words. So it's just a joke that I make. Anyway, so the second is preservation of chastity. Men have a natural desire for women. So for those women who are asking a man, why do you want to get married again? Men have a natural desire for women. And vice versa. Women have a natural desire for men as well. Satan takes advantage of this to entice man and move their lusts when a woman approaches or moves away from them. He pictures her to them in an attractive and appealing form, which may lead to various forms of sinning and compliances with lust. Now, this is why when a man is asked them, is he marrying only for lust? It's not natural. The Deen is telling you that. Okay, men have a natural desire for women, and vice versa as well. A woman cannot stay single for the rest of her life. She has desires as well. Yeah, and these desires are only fulfilled in marriage, not outside. Okay, so preservation of chastity. Number three, enjoying love, mercy, and security. Okay, women obviously, like need security. They men as well, yeah, but women mainly need security. They need a man who is secure to look after them, to give them love and whatever. Now, if you have one, and then there's another sister somewhere else, she doesn't have a husband. What does she do then? She doesn't have that security. She doesn't have that love. Okay, so it says here, love and mercy are important sentiments that brighten one's life and gives a feeling of reassurance, security, and happiness. One of Allah's great favors is the love and mercy that He instills among the married couple. Yeah, you're in the kitchen, you and your wife, cooking together, helping her to, she's wash the dishes, helping her to put the dishes away or whatever. There's nothing that makes a man less of a man if he's helping his wife in the kitchen. That instills love, for them. I cooked lunch today. Yeah, last week I was talking about me cooking and everything. I cooked lunch today. My wife and I had lunch and we enjoyed it. Yeah, so that love and mercy, there's a great favor that Allah has given, and you find that there is no love before marriage. A man cannot tell a woman I love you, and she's not his wife, or she cannot tell him that she loves him if he's not her husband. It's only when you get married that Allah puts that love in the heart. Okay, so they do. It carries on. They dwell into each other, just as one dwells into a house that gives him protection, security, and happiness. Allah says in the Quran, Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim, and among His signs that He has created for you from yourselves, spouses that may dwell in joy, in security unto them. And He set between you love and mercy. Surely that is a sign for those who reflect. Furthermore, there is a wonderful feel of closeness between the married couple. Similar to the closeness of garment of a person's body, they provide for each other protection, comfort, and cover. A man is a protector. He's a provider. Okay, he comes home. He sees his wife, whether one, two, or three, or whatever. He sees his wife. He's got happiness in his heart. She's cooked a nice meal for him. They sit down there. They're talking. How was your day? How was this? How was that? This type of thing. Yeah. And this is what it's supposed to be. And it can be done with one spouse, one wife, two wives, and three wives, and four wives. Yeah. And Allah says in the Quran, they are a garment for you, and you are a garment for them. Now, when we talk of garment here, we don't mean clothes, malabis. Although the word used here, hunna libasun, okay, but it doesn't literally means that she's clothing for you, but she's like clothing on your body. When you wear clothing on your body, you feel good. Your body is covered. So your spouse, each spouse, is like that comfort that you get. When you wear a garment. Okay. Number 4, lawful fulfillment of desire. Very, very important here. Lawful. The desire that you're fulfilling between the husband and the wife is halal here. That's why when you when when a man and a woman gets together, you get together in halal, whether it be 1, 2, 3, or 4, rather than commit zina. Yeah, rather than commit zina, this is lawful. Allah has made it lawful for you. 2, 3, or 4. Yeah, 2, 3, or 4. Allah has made lawful for you. If you cannot, there are some conditions that Allah has given. That is not our conditions, but Allah has imposed that condition. If you cannot make justice, then stick to 1. Okay, but lawful fulfillment of desire. One of Allah's great favors on us is that He provided us with marriage as a lawful channel for venting our desires. Okay. Okay, and Ibn Umar and Ibn Amr reported Ibn Umar and Ibn Amr bin al-As radiallahu anhum reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, this life is a temporary accommodation, and the best of its accommodation is a righteous wife. So if you've got one righteous wife, two righteous wives, three righteous wives, four righteous wives, you're the happiest man around. You're the happiest man that exists, basically. If you've got a righteous wife, one, two, three, four. Anyway, that's number four. Very, very important, because today what's happening is we find that zina has become so easy. Zina has become so easy today. Why? Because mahar is too expensive, difficult to find sisters to get married. Like, a lot of conditions and everything between the sisters and everything. So you will find that, like, it's become so hard for a man to get married, and you find a lot of sisters prefer to stay single because they've had bad marriages in the past or whatever. So this is a lawful channel that Allah has given you through marriage to fulfill your desires. And we know that we know that zina is haram. Obviously, nobody needs to repeat it. Okay. Now, number five, pleasurable way of increasing good deeds. Not only is marriage lawful means of fulfilling a person's desire, but it's also a means of increasing one's balance of good deeds. Now, can you imagine, yeah, a man spending on his family? Okay, a man spending on his family, monthly, weekly, anytime he spends on his family. This is the biggest sadaqah that a man can give. Okay. Now, if you have one wife, you're spending on her. You have another wife, you're spending on her as well. Can you imagine the amount of sadaqah that you're giving? And this is the best sadaqah that a man can give, is by spending on his family. So can you imagine now, if a man, especially in this day and age, you have, like, sisters that are there are many countries. I just read that again a couple of days ago. I don't know if it's true. Maybe brothers and sisters from there can confirm it to me, that Pakistan has made it in the law. Pakistan has made it that they've reintroduced polygyny because of the state of the ummah there. Like, a lot of people are poor and everything, and, like, maybe that they've done that for this reason. But two places I've read it now. Yeah. So there is a hadith here from, yeah. So there's a hadith from Abu Dharr radiallahu anh that reported that some of the companions of Allah's Messenger complained to him, "Oh Allah, the wealthy people have taken all the rewards. They pray as we do and fast as we do, and they give charities from extra monies." The Prophet ﷺ replied, "But Allah has given you that which you may offer as charity. Verily, every tasbih, every subhanallah, alhamdulillah, Allahu Akbar that you do is charity. Every takbir, say you saying Allahu Akbar, is charity. Every tahleel, la ilaha illallah, there is no there is no deity except Allah, is charity. Every tahmeed, saying alhamdulillah, praise be to Allah, is charity. Commanding good is charity. Forbidding evil is charity. And having intercourse with your wife is charity. Can you imagine that now? Yeah. I mentioned what you spend on your spouse, what you spend on your wife, but having intercourse with your wife the right way, obviously the way Allah has allowed us, that itself is a charity. But then, can you imagine now a man who's given them sadaqah? Yeah, he's given sadaqah. The biggest sadaqah he can spend on is his family. Now, if he's making justice between two spouses, he's making justice between them. What he buys for one, he buys for another. He pays rent for one, pays rent for another. Fills one's cupboards, fills the other one's cupboards. Buy gifts for them every now and again. Can you imagine the amount of rewards he's getting now? Can you imagine that? Yeah. So think about that. Think about that, brothers. Brothers who can, who are in the situation, who are in the position of wealth. Today we can buy ourselves iPhones. We can buy ourselves iPads. We can buy ourselves the latest cars. But we have our sister, like who lives just down the road. Who doesn't have a husband, and we can't take care of her. We can't do a nikah with her or whatever. Okay. The companions ask, O Messenger of Allah, does a person even receive a reward for fulfilling his desire? He responded, assume that he directed it towards zina. Would that not be a burden for him? Would that not result in a burden for him? Now, can you imagine now? We'd spoken about this before, where there are plenty people who, because of shame or because of family, because of whatever, they would prefer to go into zina than to actually take another sister. Yeah, they prefer to go into zina than actually marry them again. For them, even some of the women that I've spoken to, some women that I've heard that they would prefer to keep it hush hush. Husband is doing this, keep it hush hush, don't tell anybody, even I know about it, rather than him halal bringing another sister into the family. So can you imagine now the sorry can you imagine now the situation that the ummah has fallen into? Oh, a sister would prefer her husband to actually fall into zina, yeah, fall into zina, but don't take what's the name? Don't take another wife. Okay, not all sisters will agree that their husbands fall into zina. Obviously, I'm not generalizing, but you have that situation. Okay, so anyway, again, I'd like to remind you that you're watching O People of the Book, and this is your brother Jamal, and you're watching the From Monogamy to Polygamy. We're broadcasting on O People of the Book, and we're also broadcasting on Consider This TV. Let me just log into Consider This TV. I have that on as well. Maybe there's some of you who are watching from there, and I cannot see your I cannot see your what do you call it? Yeah, we can see two likes on here. So anyway, and remember, this is the 22nd lesson. Okay, the 22nd lesson that we're doing. Yeah, so 22nd lesson that we're doing, and time is going fast. So there you go. And remember to subscribe, like, and share. Okay. So let's go now. Let's move on now to another one. Living a harmonious life. Again, we're talking about the things about getting married. Yeah, marriage allows a person to live in harmony with his human nature, and eliminates from him feelings of conflict and dejection. As indicated earlier, abstaining from marriage is unnatural and has been prohibited by the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Okay. Now, the social advantages of marriage is quite an interesting book here. Yeah, it's quite an interesting book that gives them some very good insights. So let's see. Okay, social advantages of marriage. So we're talking of marriage here. So this applies again to polygyny. Yeah, when we're talking of marriage, like I mentioned earlier on, polygyny is not some weird little thing that just landed, and now, I want to take it out. Oh, polygyny is marriage itself. It is nikah, but nikah with the second one, with the third one, with the fourth one. Same rules applied. You have to make a contract. You have to, fulfill the rights and everything. Same thing. Okay. So whatever I'm reading here now applies to polygyny. Okay. Social advantages of marriage. From the above discussion, we can conclude that marriage has many advantages to the society. I was reading about individual advantages. Now we move to the social advantages. Okay, to the society. In what follows is a list of them. Preserving humankind. Now we know that the Prophet ﷺ told us to marry so that we can increase the ummah. We can increase the ummah and what's the name? preserving humankind. Marriage fulfills Allah's law for reproduction, as we have discussed earlier, and it constitutes a correct means of preserving humankind until Allah inherits the earth and all what is in it. Now, we find today the non-Muslim community where they're actually like, procreating like rabbits. Basically, you have some of them like, don't care, or like, no marriage, no nothing, living in sin, procreating, one one baby daddy here, one baby daddy there, and like, baby mamas here, baby mamas there. This is not what Islam for the community itself, for the society itself. It's not what is prescribed by Islam. Islam says, okay, fine, you have that desire, you want more children or whatever, get married again. Okay? So, okay. Preserving kinship and ties. This is number 2 now. Contrary to zina, marriage preserves and reveres kinship. One thing I always mention when a lot of these non-Muslims mention the marriage of Aisha radiallahu anha to the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, one thing they don't realize that the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam didn't just like marry her alone. When he married all his wives and all that, there was a kinship that was being made here. He built bonds. He built bonds with people and whatever. And we as well, when we are getting married, we're not getting married to that one lady, two ladies, three ladies, four ladies, or whatever. We're building a family now. Her family becomes our family. Okay, her family becomes our family, and we have the in-laws coming in, visiting us. We visit them. Little gifts here, little gifts there, Eid, and all this type of stuff. So we're actually preserving and revering the kinship ties. It establishes a paternal relationship between the children and their parents, giving them all a feeling of dignity and self-esteem. That strengthens the feeling of love and care with the society. Okay, so this is preserving the kinship, which is very, very important. Today, family ties don't seem to matter. Yeah, especially in the non-Muslim society. Number 3, safeguarding the society from moral degeneracy. Okay, this is what we're talking about. This is the issue of marriage in Islam, whether it's 1, 2, 3, or 4. We are safeguarding the society from moral degeneracy. The amount of sisters that we have out there who are not married, the amount of sisters that we have out there who are divorced very young. You see in a lot of these groups, a lot of these Facebook groups, or WhatsApp groups, or whatever. I mean, like, very, very young, been married and divorced. Some of them just put like, the reason, forced marriage, unsuitable. I mean, I don't understand it. It's like it's a joke, basically. People get married for a joke, and then when it doesn't work, leave, go. So safeguarding the community, the society from moral degeneracy. Yeah, the non-Muslims, easy way out: get a girlfriend, live in a house with her, have children. Then move on to another one. After a while, I found that in the Southeast Asian community, I've spoken to a lot of Southeast Asians, where people from the Philippines, from Indonesia and everything. It happens specifically in those areas of the people I've spoken to, that they get married young. They get married to a girl when she's still young, and then when she gets a certain age, they leave her with the children and go off to another woman, and she's left without a husband. 3, 4, 5. Who's going to marry a woman with 5 children, 6 children? Unless a man can afford it, then he will do it. So this society becomes degenerate now. Yeah, the society where we're talking about is Islamic society. The society now where the women are not married, but they're having affairs, they're having, like, relationships. They've got the baby daddy one, baby daddy two, baby daddy three. One is in prison, one is dead, one is whatever. One doesn't want to know his children. So the society becomes degenerate. Marriage is a proper way of establishing correct and permissible relationships between men and women. This helps maintain chastity and protects the Muslim individuals from slipping into the filth of zina and other sins related to it, which would be discussed in a subsequent chapter. Thus, marriage closes the door in the face of many acts of moral degeneracy. Today, they're discouraging polygyny, but you find men getting married to men. That's no problem for them, Moral degeneracy. Men are married with men. Plenty of families don't have fathers. You get a woman in the house who's raising a kid on her own. I'm not saying anything wrong about with that. Yeah, I'm not saying that they cannot be mothers or whatever. But what I'm saying is that, like, you have it's not normal. Normal is one husband and wife getting married, and there's no zina, in the society. The children are raised in an Islamic environment. Children grow up. They, according to what their parents taught them, according to what their parents gave them, they follow their parents, get married, bring up a family as well. Thus, marriage closes the door to the face of many acts of moral degeneracy and decadence, which are among the major causes for the destruction of societies. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has destroyed so many homes because of this type of stuff. Yeah, the degeneracy of the society. Okay. Now, number 4, safeguarding the society from physical diseases. Now, can you imagine when there is no proper marriage in the community, when zina is committed, then there's all sorts of what's the names that come in, all sorts of STDs that are brought in to the family when the people are promiscuous. Whereas marriage safeguards you from that. Now, be careful though. Like, if you're taking a second wife, always be make sure that there are tests and everything, because you don't know what could happen, what could have happened in the past. Or we're not blaming anybody. We're not pointing fingers at anybody. But somebody's life might have been more fruitful, sexually or whatever, and she might carry something or whatever and pass it on. We always have to be careful with that. Yeah, but marriage safeguards you from that. Together with zina, and its related vices comes a host of diseases. Destructive diseases. Among those are gonorrhea, syphilis, venereal ulcers, and most recently AIDS. Marriage is an important means of protecting the society from these and many other diseases that can easily be transmitted, that do not even spare the children. Okay, so we can see now the importance of marriage in Islam, whether it's to 1, 2, 3, or 4. And this is why Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala made zina prohibited, and made them polygyny accepted, made polygyny even a blessing. Allah put blessing in polygyny. And I even mentioned, I was reading something a few weeks ago, and it mentioned how muta is actually destroying Iran at the moment. The women are going crazy. They're doing demonstrations. They're out there, like, they're not happy at all. Because of muta. One woman even mentioned that she made muta with a man for half an hour. Half an hour. She got married to him, which is prostitution, basically. She got married to this man for half an hour. And where was the place? In his car. Yeah, they signed the contract and everything. And this is destroying this. This is actually prostitution. Yeah? Whereas Islam tells you don't do this. Islam tells you you marry a woman for the sake of marriage, not for the sake of using her like this. So we can see that even in society who claim to be Muslim, they claim that they are Muslims, that depending on their aqidah, they cannot do something like this. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has forbidden them has forbidden zina, and made them polygyny the norm. Okay. Number 5, establishing the family environment. Marriage is a necessary step towards establishing a healthy environment for nurturing and rearing children. Our children are fruits of our generation, and our men and women are of our ummah. Through the good marriages, we furnish them with love, mercy, compassion, and guidance that they need for proper growth and development. Number 6, increasing the number of Muslims. I mentioned that earlier on. The Prophet ﷺ mentioned that on the day of Yawm al-Qiyamah, his ummah will be the biggest ummah. And he asked us, his ummah, to increase his ummah by creating more children. In Islam, what counts is not quantity alone, but quantity together with quality. Therefore, we are urged to increase the number of good Muslims, not superficial Muslims. Good Muslims are those who live by Allah's commands and follow His Messenger's guidance. Such are those people who should increase and multiply so as to establish Allah's religion in this life and in his and enter his gardens in the next. Now, one thing we have to be careful. I know a lot of our brothers who get married to Muslim sisters, don't teach them the Deen, have children with them, and then halfway through, either because of nationality or incompatibility or whatever, they leave these women. And when they leave these women now, these women turn against Islam. When they turn against Islam, the children are brought up against Islam, and they wage war against Islam. You can see in the dawah groups and everything the problems that we have with these children. We've got Muslims named, some of them. They know Islam, but they know a twisted version of Islam, because the father didn't even bother to teach the wife and the children Islam. Yeah. He was more interested in nationality. He was more interested in whatever else he got married to her for, and we also have these people who go to the West, find a woman there, get married, leave a woman in their country. Don't tell neither of them anything. None of them know anything, or maybe the one at home knows, and the one here, in the West doesn't know. Gets married to her, and then leaves her halfway. Only leaves her to know that, what has happened or whatever. Obviously, that woman now would have hatred for Islam, or whatever. There's so much of this happening as well. Brothers who are getting married only because of nationality, because of the papers, and that is the wrong intention. That is the wrong intention of getting married. A Muslim should marry with the intention of increasing the number of righteous Muslims. Subsequently, he should strive to raise his family upon the true religion. Only then would they be among the number of Muslims who will please and delight Allah's Messenger on the day of judgment. To the extent that he will boast about them in front of the multitude of nations. The Prophet ﷺ said, Abu Hurairah related that the Prophet ﷺ said, "Marry, because I will exhibit your large numbers on the day of judgment." Another hadith, the Prophet ﷺ, Abu Umama says, that reports that Allah's Messenger said, marry, so on the day of judgment I will be delighted by your outnumbering other nations. Do not practice monasticism like the Christians. Okay, so this was part of this book. I can go further. There are different what's the name, but our main aim is not this book. Our main aim is our normal book that we're doing. But if you can get hold of it, please do. It's very interesting, especially for those who want to get married and for those who want to go into polygyny as well. It teaches you marriage in the first place, what it is: garments of love and mercy. Garments of Love and Mercy by Sheikh Mohammed Al Jibali. And also, like I said, if you want to enroll on that course, go to IOU, type IOU, International Online University, and they have a diploma on marriage. Yeah. Diploma on marriage, and you can give yourself the skills and whatever to help our brothers and sisters. To help our brothers and sisters. This is the intention. Whatever knowledge you get the intention. Your intention has to be right. Yeah, your intention has to be to help the ummah, to help the brothers and sisters, and to, like, to use it for the sake of deen. Allah gives you the knowledge, and Allah will make your path easy. Allah will make your path easy if you take the root of knowledge. So if you enroll on the course, and at the same time you're educating yourself, and you're helping educating others as well. It's not expensive. I think they only charge the fees for the costs for the administrative fees or whatever. Anyway, we move back to the book now. We move back to from monogamy to polygamy. Before from monogamy to polygyny. Before we go any further, we're at the 55 point mark, and I'd like to remind you that you're watching O People of the Book. This is your host Jamal, and yeah, you're watching us on O People of the Book, and you're also watching us on Consider This TV, and I hope you're benefiting from this. I mean, like, the time we spend searching for material and everything, and so I hope it's beneficial for you. And if you pass the word on, make other brothers and sisters. I mentioned last time that we have to increase the number of subscribers. I don't do a show for subscribers here. I do it for Allah. Yeah, but it would be good if I can increase my subscribers to 500. We're at 441. Come on, just get me 60 people. Bring me, say, 60 people, okay? Your friends, your neighbors, your group, whoever's in your group who is interested in polygyny, who wants to learn about polygyny, wants to learn about marriage as a whole, because we're not talking about only polygyny here. We're talking about marriage as a whole. Bring them along, let them subscribe and share, and inshallah at the same time, the effort that I'm putting, getting you content and everything. Anyway, so we're at the 57-minute stage, and we move on now to frequently asked questions. Last week we went through one. How do you make it through the first night of your husband's subsequent marriage? Do you cry all night? And we spoke about turning back to Allah and stuff like that, and dhikr and all that stuff. Now, question number 2: Do you have to like your co-wife? Okay, obvious. You really should be the best. You really should be should do your best to like her, and you have to love for the sake of Allah. And she is a Muslim, because you are both part of a large family unit. It is best for peace, and it is best for family peace and happiness to have a good relationship with your co-wife. How do you think your husband, sister, would feel if there's always fighting between the co-wives? How can he concentrate on giving you a good life, giving her a good life, if you don't like her, she don't like you, or she likes you and you don't like her, or you like her and she don't like you? There's never peace between him. Between you. Yeah, how is it going to make your life easy? How are you going to concentrate on pleasing Allah? How are you going to concentrate on pleasing your husband? How can he now make justice? Okay, if there isn't that love between you. I'm not telling you that you have to love one another like some sisters do, some wives do, but not all, not everyone. You don't have to make a party about it, but she is a Muslim like you, and she's part of the family. So don't have hatred against her. Okay, you must always give her her rights as a fellow Muslim. Remember, she's a fellow Muslim and she has rights upon you. So the rights that she has as a fellow Muslim, you have to go to give her those rights. Set aside her being a co-wife. Give her the rights as a Muslim. So you love them, love for your brother, for your sister Muslim, as you love for yourself. Okay, so that's a rule. That rule is clear. Love for your sister Muslim as you love for yourself, such as returning salams, responding to her if she sneezes, yarhamakullah, you know? Accepting invitations. Ramadan, she might invite you around for what's her name, for Torah, and invite her as well around, like, something might be happening, some get together among the sisters or whatever, and she invites you as well, accepting her invitation, and protect her honor. That is very, very important. Don't go around talking about her. She's like this, she's like that, she's done this, she's done that. You don't know what she does behind your back or whatever. You know, this type of thing, protect her honor. This is very important. Now, there's a hadith about that, about protecting honor. Al-Bara bin Azib said, the Prophet ﷺ ordered us to do 7 things and forbade us from 7 things. He ordered us to visit the sick, follow the funeral, reply to the sneeze, to assist in fulfilling the oath, to help the oppressed, to spread a greeting, and to accept an invitation. Recorded in Al-Bukhari, Al-Bukhari, volume 7, hadith 539. Abu Hurairah reported, do not nurse a grudge. Abu Hurairah reported that the Prophet ﷺ said, do not nurse a grudge against a Muslim. I'm talking of a Muslim here, right? Okay, so whether she's your co-wife or a Muslim, she has to be treated in the same way. Do not nurse a grudge against a Muslim, and do not outbid him for raising the price. Do not nurse an aversion or enmity. Do not enter into any transaction when others have entered into that transaction. And be as fellow brothers and servants of Allah. Fellow sisters and servants of Allah. Same thing. Okay, a Muslim is a brother, a sister of a Muslim. He neither oppresses him nor humiliates him, nor look down on him. Her. We're talking about her now, so obviously, we have to put it in context. Yeah, piety is here. And while saying this, he pointed to his chest 3 times. Piety is here. All things of a Muslim are inviolable for his brother in faith, his blood, his wealth, and his honor. So remember that, okay? So as the question, do you have to like your co-wife? Here's the answer with the hadith. Let us continue. Okay, some personalities, however, may not get along, but know that they are not married to. Some personalities, however, may not get along well, but know that you are married to your co-wife. You are not married. Sorry, you are not married to your co-wife. You are married to your husband. Okay, you should not become her enemy, as a Muslim is not the enemy of another Muslim. But that doesn't necessarily mean that you're going to have to be great friends either. However, you must give her rights and respect as a Muslim. Like I just been saying, you're married to your husband. She's married to your husband as well. Yeah, both of you are married to your husband. Now, when you're fighting and making difficulties, you're giving your husband that hard time. He's the one who's not able to concentrate now. He's having to intervene between you two. He's having to show that he loves you two, both of you, or 3 or 4, whatever. So by making her life difficult, you're making his life difficult as well. And like I said, you don't have to be great friends. You don't have to go have a party every weekend. And some do. In some countries, you find all of them together, sitting down, with the husband. I've seen pictures in Indonesia and Malaysia and everything, where they get on like a house on fire. Because of the advantages that they share with each other. You don't have to, but you give her rights. Okay. Question number 3: how don't you get lonely on the day off? Okay, that is very important, because for some women, time off is very important. Yeah, your husband's breathing down your neck 24 hours, 7 days a week. I think that it is better for the woman to have some time to herself, go to the gym, look after herself. When a husband comes to her, she's had her nails done, she's had her hair done, she's like, looking, elegant or whatever. She's cooked a nice meal, like, she's had the time to read some books, she's had the time to learn the Quran, she's had, the husband hasn't been around. Let's see the answer to this. This is my opinion that I was giving. The most common answer to this one is no. There are so many things to keep you busy with. Take care of the kids, cleaning, exercising, cooking, sewing, studying, memorizing the Quran, just like what I was saying. Days aren't much different, as the husband is usually off at work anyway. You continue with your normal routine, and on the nights that aren't yours, you relish in the free time. Okay, husband's not here for 3 days. Okay, he's at the other sister's house. In those 3 days, probably you had something to do at home. Yeah, and you've been saying, "I've got to do this. I've got to do this. I've got to clear this. I've got to clear that, or whatever." Take that time to do it. Okay, take that time to do it. You continue with your normal routine, and on nights that aren't yours, you relish with the free time to get work done that you've wanted to do for so long. You don't have to worry about having a meal cooked. You know? Sometimes you might not want to have a meal cooked. You just want to order from outside or something simple. But husband, like, he might want them every day, a meal on the table or whatever. 3 days is not here. These 3 days, you want to kind of like, have something simple, whatever. You know. You're sitting down reading a book. You're sitting down reading your Quran, and you find, like, I just want to have some yogurt, and then like, some coffee or some tea or whatever, and like, some yogurt, some biscuits or whatever. I don't know. I'm just giving an idea, like, So it's, so you don't have to worry about having a nice meal cooked, about having the house perfectly clean, or about looking your best for your husband, unless you want to do these things for yourself. So while he's not around, if you want to look good for yourself, fine. You want to clean the house for yourself, fine. But when he's around, make sure you do you do these things. Obviously, to, like, to make him happy, and, like, you look good for yourself, you're good for him. Yeah. He's here at home. He's looking at his wife. You know the hadith that when a man looks at his wife with a smile, he's happy. He looks at his wife with a smile. Allah's happy with him, and Allah tells the angels to be happy with him, and Allah tells the angels to tell the people around him to be happy with him. He's just looking at his wife with a smile, and if she dies in that situation, Allah will be happy with her, and she'll enter Jannah. Okay. So while he's around, you can do, look good for him or whatever. When he's not around, don't want to do your hair, no, don't do it. Or you can make the most of that time to go and do it while he's not around. Go into the salon, have your nails done. Haven't had the time to have your nails done while he's around or whatever. Go and have your nails done. Go and have your hair done or whatever. Anything that, like, occupy your time. There's been this lecture that you've been wanting to listen to, the sheikh that you've been following or whatever, and you haven't had the time. Now husband's not around. You don't have to cook. You don't have to impress him or whatever. Then put that lecture on, and, like, do whatever you need to do. If you want to clean your house and have the lecture of the lecture going on, anything. Yeah, anything. Okay, you can lounge around in your favorite pajamas and enjoy the time for yourself. Well, I'd like my wife to lounge around in her pajamas while I'm around. She's halal for me, obviously. At the beginning of polygyny, you may feel some loneliness, as you aren't used to this, but it gets easier. Most women enjoy the night off. I'm telling you, it's beneficial for most women. It's beneficial that you have the time off. You have that time off to, like, if you've got children, you spend the time with the children. You know, children have grown older. Whatever you can spend your time with, you spend your time with that. So that question is answered. Okay. Question number, I don't know. I've forgotten the number anyway. Next question. How do you feel with the fact that your husband is having sex with another woman? This is something that a woman cannot take off her mind. It's as if, all day, 24 hours, 7 days a week, the man is in bed having sex. Yeah. They don't think about anything else. So he's got to get up the next morning to go to work, or he's going to be working all day. Comes back, he's tired. He's with the other sister. He's probably laid out on the couch with the snoring his head off from with the other sister as well. You know, but the fact that he's married to her, she's his responsibility. So he has to be with her. She's not having sex with him all the time. That's one thing you have to realize. And even if he is, even if he is, it is his halal. You'd rather he do that than to go out and get it from outside, basically. Okay, let's see what the answer says. This is probably the most common difficulty for women to deal with in regards to polygyny. You must know first that Shaitan loves to cause problems in marriages. Definitely, it is his whispering that will cause you to think about such things, realizing that you have to avoid even the thought of what might be going through between them. When such things come across your mind, say, A'udhu billahi minash shaitanir rajim, because you shouldn't be thinking about what's happening between them, imagining what's happening between them. Okay? You might be thinking, like I said, you might be thinking that he's there having sex all the time when he's not. The sister might not be well. He might be cooking. Just the same thing that he does for you in your house, he might be doing for her as well. He might be sitting down teaching her. He might be sitting down or he might be cooking for her. The same thing that he does for you, he's probably doing the same thing with her as well. Continue to say this until the thoughts leave your mind, and try to occupy your mind with something else. Also remember that such an issue is an absolutely none of your business. What goes on in other house is your husband's business. Thinking about it will only cause you grief. Yeah, it's none of your business what goes on between him and his other wife. He might not even have sex at all with her. You don't know that. He might have married the sister out of compassion for her. He might have married that sister because she's in need of a husband or whatever. And he might not even have sex with her. Only in the beginning when he got married or whatever, they were intimate, and we don't know that. And it's not your business. It's not your business to actually worry about what goes on. You shouldn't want or like anyone else to concern themselves with your personal business with your husband. So likewise for her. Hate doing to your sister what you would hate doing to yourself. Yeah, like you say, like we say, one is not a proper Muslim until he loves her for himself what he loves for his sister, his brother Muslim. Same thing here. You should hate for her. You should hate for her what you would hate for yourself. You wouldn't want anybody to enter in your business. You wouldn't want anybody to ask you questions. What do you do with your husband every night? So why would you be worried about what they're doing? Okay. It is completely within a man's ability to take care of more than one woman and please more than one woman. Concentrate on your own relationship. If need be, do some things to spice up your relationship together, such as buy something pretty to wear or have a private candlelight dinner. Certainly, this is one issue that we just might not think about, or we might fight over these or so we must fight over these whisperings of the accursed ones. A lot of sisters who've got this issue about their man taking another wife don't even work on them pleasuring their husband as much. They're either tied to the kitchen, or they're not interested in intimacy anymore. They don't dress nice to look for their husband, for their husbands. They don't look, do their hair. They don't do their nails. But when he's with another wife, oh, he's having sex with her. Well, what's the problem? If you make yourself look nice for him, yeah. If you make yourself look nice for him, if you dress to impress him, if you dress as his wife halal, as his halal wife, you dress to tempt him, then why would you have to worry about his other wife, what he's doing with her? This is your private life. You should be, as a matter of fact, you should be uh, competing to please your husband. You should be competing to to win him and get the rewards for it. Okay, so yeah, it says here clearly that if need be, do things that will spice up your love life. Don't worry about theirs. What about yours? Yours might not be might need spicing up. That's the reason. One of the reasons, maybe, I'm not saying but maybe that's one of the reasons your husband's got married to another wife, because you neglected him. A lot of sisters I know, when they reach a certain age, that's it. They don't want an intimacy anymore. Yeah, they feel too old or whatever. They don't want intimacy, but they don't want the husband to go and take another wife as well. Yeah, and he needs that intimacy. He needs to be loved. He needs to be comforted. So you're worried about what he's doing with the other wife, but you're not concentrating on what you should be doing to revive, to spice up your marriage. So that is very important there, that you spice up your marriage, okay, such as buy something pretty to wear, or have a private candlelight dinner. With him, he comes one day from work and all the lights are off, and just a candlelit dinner, just you and him. Try and revive that love. There's so many things. Certainly, this is one issue that we just must not think about. So we must fight those whisperings, those whispers of shaitan in the ears. We must fight that. Okay. So let's see, we're at 116. Should we take another question from here? Okay, let's take another question. I hope these have answered some of your questions there. And like I say, I'm doing my best here to help my brothers and sisters, not attacking anybody, not pointing fingers at anybody neither. But I'm just doing this to help my brothers and sisters who are in polygyny, or who want to enter in polygyny and don't know much about it or whatever. Okay, so now we're doing the questions. We're doing the questions that maybe are in your mind already, and you need answers for them. What do you tell your non-Muslim relatives, or do you tell them, at all? This one you have to play by ear. It will depend on the family and the individuals. Some women choose not to tell their relatives. Others do. There's no right or wrong way to deal with this. If you are having difficulty accepting it yourself, then you may want to wait until you are in a stronger emotional state before you tell them. The benefits of polygyny could be discussed, as well as the fact that it is practiced in most societies, and Islam regulates the practice. Also, it is part of human nature of a man, and that the woman must be treated equally and fairly. Non-Muslims who detest Islam to begin with will probably only come at you with arguments. So be sure that you are ready to take them on. Others may think it's weird, but don't bother at all. You know your relatives best, and will have to judge the situation best of your ability to decide what to do, and may Allah help you with this. Okay, you'll be surprised. Yeah, there are so many people out there who the situation they are in at the moment, non-Muslim I'm talking about, yeah, who would actually look into polygyny. A lot of them hate it. They hate Islam. They hate polygyny because they don't know anything about it. But once educated about it, you see now the Afro American community in America. Most of them non-Muslims are into polygyny. You see the what's her name as well. You see the Native American community. You see a lot of the Latino community. There's so many in Africa. There's so many communities that are into polygyny. Now, a lot of times when you talk to non-Muslim women who are looking to Islam, yeah, and they raise the issue of polygyny. This is one of the things a lot of people have a problem with when they look into Islam or whatever. And if you educate them about it, then they're willing to accept it. There are a lot of women out there who who are single, who many of the non-Muslims have got children outside marriage, and they don't have a husband. A lot of them would accept it. A lot of them would accept that they get married to a man that, like, he can look after them. He can provide for them or whatever, and he's got another wife or whatever. As long as they know that it's an advantage for them. So not all of them would be against it, but you need to know how to explain to them. You need to know how to educate them over this. And a lot of them, like I said, when you talk to them about it, they tell you that, like, if you're a good man, fine. There's not many good men around. This is the thing. Muslim men, most Muslim practicing Muslim men are good men. We wouldn't cheat. Yeah, we will follow the Sunnah of the Prophet ﷺ and the Quran. We'll treat our wives right. So when they hear about these things, this kind of brings them into Islam. Yeah? Some of them will not accept it outright, even if they revert or whatever. They will not accept it outright. But a lot of them, the fact that they have children, the fact that, like, they need the protection, they need them a provider or whatever. Some of them are ready to accept it. So you have to, like it says, play by ear and see. Okay. So if there is anyone who's got any questions or whatever, if maybe you have questions, not now, but you will have questions afterwards in what's the name? You can put it in the comments, and, like, we can look into it. Like I said, I'm not a scholar. I'm a student of knowledge, and, like, I can find out. I can do some research, and, like, I can ask my scholars or whatever, like, if there is anything. We'll just wait a little minute and see, and give you some time if there is anyone out there who wants to ask any questions. Listen. There's one on this page. There's one question before. There's two questions, but yeah, there's two questions. Let's go to these questions. Let's finish off this page. Okay, let's finish off this page. What do you do when sisters within your community shun you? That's interesting as well. We find Muslim sisters, who are against the polygyny, will shun another Muslim sister. We talked about this earlier on. You have to treat a Muslim like a Muslim, like, a sister. So why would you shun her? Answer: sadly, this is common occurrence. Having sisters that treat you with contempt because you are in polygyny, they should be accepting it. As Muslims, they should be accepting it because it's from the Quran. It is from the Quran and the Sunnah, so they should be accepting it. So for them to be against it and shunning you because you are part of it, that's totally wrong. Okay, be patient with it. It can be difficult at times, and you may be hurt by the way the sisters treat you. But try to make excuses for them and not dwell on it. Try to portray satisfaction with it, so that as to not to promote ill feelings towards polygyny. Again, like I said, this is education. Yeah, a lot of them are not educated properly about polygyny. They have misconceptions about polygyny. A friend of mine in polygyny, she's got this, she's got that. It's her friend, not her. Yeah, and she's probably not aware of it. She's not living in that household to know about it. Yeah, so for her to be against it, then, like, maybe she needs some more education. There's one sister that I was talking to. I think she watched my show one time, or she was in a group, and she said, "You've actually convinced me now." She said, "I was unaware of all this by watching your shows, by discussing with you. Now I understand what polygyny really is." So these people who shun it, a lot of times they don't have the knowledge. They don't have the knowledge of it. They shun it for nothing. Don't avoid the masjid or study circles because of fear of running into sisters who are not pleased. You have every right to attend the masjid and not to keep up with your worship, and need to keep up with your worship, and remember Allah always. Don't let others cause you to miss out on seeking knowledge or getting deeds. They're the ones who need to seek knowledge, actually, not you. You know, you're they are seeking knowledge or whatever. They're the ones who have a lack of knowledge, so they are the ones who need to concentrate on seeking knowledge more about polygyny. It is something that is crucial. We're in a crisis at the moment, and a lot of people are falling into the zina. A lot of people, a lot of children don't have parents. A lot of women don't have husbands, and ending up like living a life without husbands. And you need they need to be educated about this. Okay, don't let others cause you to miss out on seeking knowledge or getting good deeds. Always be patient, and inshallah, your reward will be with Allah. Okay, last question before we finish. There's a last question here. It seems to be a small one. It is normal to lose libido in all forms of intimacy when polygamy surfaces in the marriage. Is it normal to lose libido in all forms of intimacy when polygamy surfaces in a marriage? Actually, it is not. The answer: it is not. Every woman will react differently to polygyny. Contrary to what one might think, it even increases libido for many women. At first, the shock of about learning of your husband's desire can often have the effect of not wanting your husband and anywhere near you. But when the shock wears off, this feeling does too. Okay, so you'll find that, and like I said earlier on, you'd want to compete now. You don't want to compete with whatever sister, your husband's got married to please your husband. So that would increase your libido. That would increase your desire for him. All this time you'd ignored him. Now you wake up now. Oh no, is this was that shaitan is putting in your mind about your husband being with another woman. Now you act upon it. Now you'll want to please him even more, so you have more libido. Yeah? So anyway, we'll finish here today. Next week, inshallah, we'll start on page 148, the first question on 148. But I don't want to share my husband. Is that such a crime to want a man to yourself? Okay, that's the question we will abide next week, and we'll go through the questions and answers. There's quite a few, alhamdulillah. So maybe your questions and your questions will be answered, and you can bring sisters and who are into polygyny or who want to get into polygyny. Brothers as well need to educate, not just sisters. This book is not just for sisters, but for brothers as well. So we'll finish here, inshallah. سبحانك اللهم وبحمدك أشهد أن لا إله إلا أنت أستغفرك وأتوب إليك سبحان ربك رب العزة عما يصفون وسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh, and I'll see you next week. Okay.